muted. There we go. Perfect. See, this is exactly why this is going to be a great thank you. I see that I was muted, and this is the what do we call this? The genuineness of doing things on the fly. I appreciate that, Soul Sister, for letting me know that I was muted. I wanted just to go back and say I started off by saying Happy Thanksgiving to my American family and friends. Much better. Thank you. I see that. Now, I want to do a conversation with you guys today. I'm not going to spend too much time, but I want to do something on limiting beliefs. And the very funny thing about this is that I was just muted, and we can laugh at ourselves about this. It is something that I've struggled with a little bit, and I know that this video hopefully will help you, but it also is meaningful to help me as well, because this, as an example, is something that's been a limiting belief for myself. Those of you who've been around the channel for a while, you know that I have started this channel about a year and a half ago, just when COVID started. And ever since then, I really wanted to do more live streams. Now, the funny thing is, I started a live stream. This is way back in the beginning. And when I look back at it now, you guys have never seen it and you never will. But when I look back at it now, I was like, what in the world was I doing? But I think this is a great segue to this conversation. We all have limiting beliefs. And I want to talk to you today about that. Here we go. I want to just show this to you first, because what are limiting beliefs? So, self limiting beliefs are the ones which have the greatest potential for impacting negatively upon you achieving your full potential. I think that's a very interesting way of putting it. We all have things that are roadblocks to us being successful in achieving our goals. And I started off wanting to do these live streams. And as you can tell, like for now, I was, really fumbling around with how I could do it. And I said to myself, I really got to do this. Matter of fact, I called my sister just a few minutes before this live, and I almost wanted to give up. And she had to very quickly put me in my own place. And it's, funny because as a motivational speaker, as someone who comes here on a weekly basis, encouraging you to be the best version of you, even I need my own encouragement. So as I navigate this whole new world of live streaming, hopefully you'll have some patience with me. But I want to ask you a question. What is your limiting belief? Let me take a pause here and go back to these live streams. I, as I mentioned, wanted to do these, and I think I really thought to myself, I needed to have a whole big production. I needed a whole fancy background. I needed all these wonderful cameras. I needed all these things in order to make live streaming work. When I looked at the videos that I did before, I did two live streams, as a matter of fact, and they dated back to probably about April or May of 2020. With this pandemic, it just seems so long ago. And I look back at them now and I'm like, man, I really sucked on camera. And I think that started to put a limiting belief on myself that I needed all these things in order to be able to do that. And I realized I had to start asking myself, what is it about that situation? What was it about those live streams? What was it about those live streams that made me really feel that I wasn't going to be capable of doing these live streams? I see this question. I'm going to come back to it in a second, right? I seem to think that I'm not good enough, Soul Sister says, and I'm going to come back and I'm going to address that, Soul Sister. So don't go anywhere. But I want to just kind of quickly go through four things that we need to do in order to help ourselves get over these limiting beliefs. And the first thing we obviously need to do is just recognize that we have these limiting beliefs. I was thinking I needed, like I said, I needed all these fancy cameras, all this fancy gear. I needed a wonderful background and all this lighting. And I would make the excuse though, I'm busy. I got my family. I got, I got work. I have all these different things that are keeping me from doing it. And in fact, all of those things were excuses. They weren't really the reasons why I was not getting live streams done. It was because I internally had this fear in myself based on the situations that I've done before. And I think that's where a lot of self-limiting beliefs come from. They come from things that we've experienced in life at some point, and it's had this negative impact on us, and so we carry that forward. So first, we really need to understand that we have these limiting beliefs and figure out what they actually are. Um, and then you got to recognize that you actually have them. I think that's probably the biggest struggle for us is recognizing and admitting that we have a belief system or a belief in something that is holding us back. And the best way for us to be able to get through that, I think, is to really ask yourself why. People that know me know that I like to question a lot of things. Now, I question things not just because I think I know more than everybody else, but it's actually how I think. It helps me kind of peel back the layers and rip apart what it is that I need to get to. But asking yourself, why do I think? So in my case, why do I think I need a fancy camera in order to do a live stream? Why do I think I need an immaculately clean house? Why do I think that I have to have a house that is empty and there's no noise? I mean, it's pretty quiet right now, but you might be able to hear some background noise. The family's here. We've got my granddaughter over, and everyone's making noise. And I almost quit. And I said, you know what? And I called my sister and I said, you know what? I'm going to do this another day. And she even said to me, like, no, you go ahead and you do that. And, those were the things that I needed to do is to really ask myself, why do I believe this? What is it? Like I said, I'm going to go back to this question. What is your limiting belief? What is the thing that holds you back? So you said that you think you're not good enough. Why is it that you think you're not good enough? What is it that makes you think that you're not good enough? See, many times we compare ourselves to other people. We feel that maybe we're not good enough because our grades weren't the greatest. Sometimes it's because we feel that other people have more going for them. They have more clout. They've got more money, more education, whatever it might be. But we have to tell ourselves that we are good enough. What I've found in my experience is that many times people think about themselves what other people say. Recently, I learned something. I was reading a book, and I learned this, and I've tried to incorporate this. So my son's in school. He's 13, is in school, and he'll do an exam or do a test, and he'll get the grades that he gets. And I always say to him, "Are you proud of yourself?" Instead of me saying, "I'm proud of you" first. I mean, I am proud of him. But if people only hear that we are proud of them, then they become dependent on somebody else validating their worthiness, if you will, right? And sometimes we think we need approval from others. That is true. Now, don't get me wrong. We obviously it feels good to get good feedback from other people, and for others to tell us that they think we're doing a good job, or that we're smart, or that we're creative, whatever the case might be. But we don't always need validation from other people. We need to really be good enough in ourselves. If I am satisfied with the marks that I get in school, if I am satisfied with the job and the effort that I put in to accomplish a particular goal, it really doesn't matter. So, I love using the example of weight loss, right? If I'm satisfied with the fact that I've lost 5 pounds, what do I care if somebody thinks that I should have lost 20? My body and my abilities to achieve the goals that I want to do has nothing to do with anybody else. And so I think we really need to make sure that we come back full circle and understand that we need to be good enough for ourselves and not wait for the validation of others. Because unfortunately, this is why I think a lot of people have issues later on in life, because they're not told enough, because they feel like they need to be told enough by somebody else. So going back to what I was saying, we really need to challenge ourselves and ask ourselves why we believe the things that we do. Why do we believe that someone needs to validate me? Why do I believe that I need all of these things to get started instead of just starting small? And I think one of the other things that I want to just quickly say on this beautiful Saturday is that we also need to really recognize the consequences of us holding on to these limiting beliefs. Now, you should remember that consequences can be both good and bad. right? So, for example, going back to this live stream, like I said, I goofed up in the beginning. I had my microphone muted. The nerves are going. I got the family in the background. But you know what? What is the consequence of me giving up and not doing the live stream and being here with you today on this Saturday morning? Well, for one, thank you very much. That the quality is really good. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. The thing that we need to do is recognize that there's a consequence, both positive and negative, to our ability to not achieve something. And good morning, Josh. Good morning. Appreciate you joining the live. I really do appreciate that. So the negative consequence of me not doing this is that you don't get to watch it. And if there's something that you take from this live stream, then that would be a negative consequence if I didn't do it, if I had quit, if I had said, you know what, there's too much going on, I got other things to do, you wouldn't have been able to benefit from this. So that would have been a negative consequence, right? But it's also a positive consequence because now you can take something from this very live stream. Um, I just want to kind of have a conversation with you guys now, and I want to really open up that question to you. And I'm going to go back to what is your limiting belief? I'd like you to let me know in the comments below. Make sure you go ahead and put those comments down there because I want to see what it is that you believe is holding you back. And first of all, what is it that you're wanting to accomplish that you're not accomplishing because of these limiting beliefs? That's what I'd really like to know as we have this conversation. Right now, I'm feeling a little bit comfortable. Like I said, I started off, really just unsure about this. This was my limiting belief. And I said, you know what? To heck with it. I'm going to do it. And even if things mess up, if things don't go exactly the way they're supposed to go, like being muted at the very beginning of this live stream, we can laugh about that. But you know what? Now that I've done it, and now that I can laugh at myself about it, I can move on and do it again and know what not to do for next time. And I can feel encouraged by the fact that I actually took that step out because that ultimately is the one of the last steps we really need to do with these limiting beliefs. So we need to recognize that we have them. We need to understand where they're coming from. And then we need to really make note of what the consequences are if we don't decide to take action on them. And then the last one, of course, is to take action. So those are the four things I really wanted to see. I really appreciate that. I'm glad that you are happy that I was able to choose to do this. I really am encouraged by doing it, and I'm not here for having a ton of people in the chat and the comments and all that kind of stuff. I just want to do this partially for you guys, but also for me because the action part is the most critical part of the limiting beliefs. Is to take action on the things that you recognize are holding you back. I'm going to go back. So I started to accept one of the uncertainties that we all have in life. And you want to go ahead and put more, let me know what that is. The uncertainties, we all have uncertainties in life. We all have things that, we fear tomorrow. We fear 2 hours from now, but what's going to be when we really shouldn't be fearing all of these things. We are great human beings, and I think the more that we get our mind wrapped around our abilities and the things that hold us back, the much better off that we could be. So I'm going to go back to this note here. Self-limiting beliefs are the ones which have the greatest potential for impacting negatively upon you achieving your greatest potential. And for me, I really think that being able to speak to people and being able to encourage people is one of my callings. I mean, I have a lot of gifts that I have, but this is something that I love to do. And I'm glad that I have some of you here in the chat with me today to help me feel welcome and work through my own, limiting beliefs. And so what I can say now is now that I've taken action on this limiting belief and I've learned from this very experience, I don't have that limiting belief anymore. The action part is got to be the most critical part for you. So I want to just encourage you guys today on this Saturday to take a step forward and leap of faith and really understand that you can do many, many great things. You don't have to have everything well put together. I'm navigating this world of live streaming. I'm going to claim this one as my first one. Like I said, The first one I did was horrible. The camera quality was ridiculous. I didn't have the stuff that I have now. But you know what? Even back then, I did it, and that's what's important. Um, let's see what Josh is saying here. Just realizing that I'll never be 100% control in 100% control of every situation. Like what has to go wrong at that time will go wrong. Josh, I really appreciate that. That is exactly what I'm talking about. We are not in control of everything in our lives, but we are in control of how we respond to it. And so, like I said, I started off, and Soul Sister had to remind me that I was muted. I was talking for probably a good minute, and nothing was going on. And people were probably confused, like, well, what's this guy doing? But you know what? I just pushed through it. You laugh it off. You understand that things are going to happen in life, and you're not going to be in control of it. And you don't have to be in control of it. But what you are in control of and have to be in control of is how you respond to it. I could have gotten all flustered and said, you know what, forget this. My mic's muted and things aren't going right. I'm gonna get out of here and forget this live stream. I'm never doing it again. Or you shrug your shoulders, you laugh it off, you laugh at yourself, and you say, on to the next thing. And that's why we're here. And so I really appreciate you guys taking just a few minutes to stop in with me today. Like I said, I didn't intend for this to be a really long live stream. Like I said, I'm just getting adjusted to just the setup in overall trying to navigate this and put on something for you guys. But I hope that as you go through the rest of this day, and again, depending on where you live, if it's your Thanksgiving, again, happy Thanksgiving. But I want you guys to take this forward with you for your Saturday and know that you can do anything that you put your mind to. You just have to get rid of these self-limiting beliefs. And so, with that, I'm just going to end it there. I'm going to encourage you guys, as you watch this video, if you still have comments you want to put down below, go ahead and do that. I appreciate you guys stopping in, and I'll see you on the next one. And until that time, I just want to leave you guys with my intro and leave it as my outro and say peace and love.